I'm going to hit you with something off the top. I'm in a terrible mood right now. I just blew not one, not two, not three. Well, yes, three trophies. Technically, it's four over the course of the season with Tottenham on Football Manager. It was soul crushing. I felt my soul leave my body in front of like over 2,000 people on stream. It left, went into orbit. It greeted all the other fallen heroes that have attempted to win a trophy with Tottenham. The funny thing is, I've already done that. We won the Europa League, and yet somehow bottling the Premier League by a point, losing the Champions League semifinal after being up 3-1, and losing the FA Cup final 1-0. That did it. I was ended. That put me 6 feet under. I literally turned circus music on and reflected on my life and thought, I've done a lot of good stuff here. I've done what I've done what I could do. And then I start to look into a story that I saw a tweet about and thought was interesting. And I end up on a website called Daily Mail. What is this shit? What is going on here? I mean, first of all, that's not my body type. All right. They don't even like, I thought this whole, web tracking thing was supposed to know, like, well, I am clearly a 35C and that is clearly a 35B. So I'm offended. But seriously, like, I'm trying to read an article. I want to see I can't even find, like, what, if you went inside the brain of an 8-year-old that spends 18 hours a day on TikTok, it wouldn't be this chaotic. I can't believe, and this is one of those websites that makes you turn off your ad block. Maybe my ad block is not good enough. That's the sort of thing that I'll normally say, and somebody will be like, well, actually, there's a better one. Maybe there is. I need to find it. Because this is absurd. I was already in a bad mood, and I wanted to talk about this thing, and I wanted to read about it, and now I'm just looking at 87 ads for a bunch of stuff I don't need. I don't want. What am I searching flights for my next trip on Royal Dutch Airlines? Do I look Dutch to you? I know my name is Zealand, but that's as close as I get. I like this electric Mustang. I live in New York. I don't own a car. I like I realize that's not even the point, but this is so chaotic. Also, like, I thank you to Will Pickworth, as I'm sure you probably had nothing to do with the title, or, it is your story, William, Will.I.am, that I am so interested in reading, because it has to do with a Turkish team wanting to leave the Turkish league, which is crazy, and I want to talk about it. But the title is a tweet. Like, what? It's 140 characters, man. Can we get, like, brevity at all? And he keeps blinking. Like, if you have, right, I'm not going to pretend to be somebody that is incredibly familiar with epilepsy. My familiarity with epilepsy goes as far as the thing before video games that says, beware of flashing lights. Are these not flashing lights? If you're going through life with epilepsy, you just, every time you open the Daily Mail, you just seize out? Like, what the hell is going on here, dude? I'm just trying to read. Like, it is absurd how, like, I don't know if you know this. YouTubers can set ads inside of their video. And very, very often, as much as YouTubers probably don't want you to know this, they can decide where the ads go. If I wanted to have an ad every minute of this video, like, I could have it. Let me prove it to you. There's an ad right. Gotcha. It's now. Now, I just did that to prove to you that I can control where the ads are in this video. And so does every other person. And I could make it, but, like, I don't put an ad every minute, right? Because that would suck to watch, right? That's what's like, that is what's going on here, right? Like, you don't put an ad every minute. You don't put 45, flashing Times Square billboards all over an art. Like, what is the, I have to know. I have to know. What's the actual text of this article? Well, I hold on. Can I get like a count? I don't even know I'm going to be able to copy that. Let me see if I can get the actual text of this article. Okay. And then there's a little bit here in between Carlos Alcaraz, the tennis player, talking, which doesn't have a lot to do with Turkish clubs, but that's entirely fair. And then we have this little bit right here. Oh, a huge chunk right here. Let me see if I skip this ad. It's a video about Sven-Goran Eriksson, which that's a cool story. Okay, and then we've got that. And then we've got, oh, wow, they gave us, what a tease. This is actually a pretty significant article. It's amazing how when you divide it up like this, it doesn't feel like it's actually that much, right? But so that's the article, right? How many characters is this? This is 4,374 characters. I don't know what to do with that number. I feel like that number is very normal. But the good news is I can read this instead of reading whatever nonsense is happening over there. Oh, that sucks. Oh, I hate that. Okay. Let's just create a background that isn't trying to throw ads at me all the time. How about a Reddit screen? Glad we solved that. But yeah, I was already in a bad mood because I bottled 3 trophies with Tottenham and Football Manager on stream. And then this is burn this with fire. Any website that decides this is how it should do and then locks itself behind like an ad block thing, burn it with fire. You don't understand how the I'll go ahead and say you don't understand how the internet works, right? And you're just trying to suck up every dime that's nailed down instead of building a user base that wants to stay on your website for more than 3 seconds just to copy and paste the article out of here. That being said, Will Pickworth, thank you for doing this bit of reporting. Okay. But the question at hand is because the Turkish league is absolutely like it's a catastrophe right now. There's the whole incident that happened. I made a video about it. The thumbnail looks like this. Ooh, that's some big time editing that we just got from Gadjet there. The thumbnail of the video is that. You can go find it. And the whole incident is that Trabzonspor's fans came on the field and multiple players, like players like Michy Batshuayi, had to fight fans on the field for their, I don't want to say for their own survival, but to avoid injury, to get to the tunnel and get protected by security. Like, it was chaotic. You've got owners coming on the field and pulling their teams off the field. You've got owners coming on the field and knocking refs out. One of them broke a referee's face over disliking a decision. The league is a catastrophe, right? The things are happening in the Turkish league that just don't happen in other major European leagues. Like, they just don't. I mean, this is the type of thing you'd hear about in the, El Salvadorian third division, and I don't want to diss the El Salvadorian third division by saying that, right? But it's the type of headline that you would expect to come from, like, that level kind of out of the way, and it's coming from, a place where Michy Batshuayi is playing, right? And so apparently Fenerbahçe is making noise about leaving. And I don't really know what I feel about this, because Fenerbahçe is, I don't think it's going to happen. I'll blanket say that. I don't think Fenerbahçe is going to be able to find a home in another league. I, perhaps in vain, hope that the idea of national league structure survives. I know in my dark heart of hearts that it probably won't. But what I mean is that, like, in Turkey, there is the Turkish league, and you've got the Champions League and the Europa League and the Conference League. But in Turkey, there's the Turkish league. In Belgium, there's the Belgian league. In the Netherlands, there's the Dutch league. In France, there's the French league, right? The fact that all of those exist, right? And the national league system and like national league pyramids existing is great to me. But that used to be a thing with World Cups. And now apparently we're hosting World Cups on 3 continents. And so I am aware in the darkness of my heart that we are probably moving away from that. That Belgium and the Netherlands, their league's going to combine, which is, they've been talking about that for a while. And if that happens, that's kind of like dipping your toe in the water. And you're like, well, that kind of makes a lot of sense. But what Fenerbahçe is talking about doing here is blowing that up massively. But I don't blame them, because the league is crazy chaotic. So a couple of rumors are here that, let me see if I can find it. According to Turkish journalist Artem Sinner, Fenerbahçe are considering the domestic leagues of Belgium, Netherlands, Spain, France, and Italy as options. Are those leagues considering them? How would this even work? Everybody's got to play an away day at Fenerbahçe in Turkey, right? What happens if they get relegated to the second division, the third division, right? That's probably not going to happen. But the idea of a national league system is that it naturally allows for, and accounts for travel distances or whatever. You see that the farther down that you go in England, if you go down to the 6th division, it's divided by north and south, and it just kind of feeds in and out of that. Like, there's so many questions that would need to be answered if all of a sudden we're just allowing Fenerbahçe to just join the Belgian league. I mean, even Italy, I guess, is close enough, but this is not. No, this is weird. Like, I don't know what to say about it, because I believe that Fenerbahçe has a point, but at the same time, I feel like perhaps the best way to address this would be to attempt to undergo reform internally. Now, I realize Fenerbahçe is feeling like it's being unfairly attacked by the league, and I'm not talking hypothetically here. Its players were literally attacked And Trabzonspor has since held a press conference that was weird for reasons that I couldn't necessarily discern. But a press conference that involved political figures. And so things are just getting weirder and weirder for Fenerbahçe. So I really, really don't blame them for this. But I don't know if I have a solution either that I like, which is tough. And I mean, this article in particular details a long-running period of injustice that Fenerbahçe feels has been served to it. So it's really hard to be anti-Fenerbahçe when you hear about the fact that in 2015, their bus was sprayed with bullets. They feel like Trabzonspor wasn't properly punished for the giant amount of tomfoolery that occurred on the field. In 2011, there was a match-fixing scandal where their president was barred and they were banned from Europe for years, but then eventually they were cleared of any wrongdoing, which is absolutely brutal thing to go through, right? There's a lot of things from just getting your bus shot at to this sort of administrative malaise when it comes to punishing people that are wronging Fenerbahçe that makes it make sense that they would want to leave. Maybe Florentino Perez can recruit Fenerbahçe into this new Super League structure, because Fenerbahçe's won the Turkish League 19 times. They still have great players, not just like Batshuayi. They have Aiden Dzeko. I mean, they've got guys that are very well known and still possess a high amount of quality. And I think if we're talking just money alone, there may be a place in one of these domestic leagues. But I said earlier, and I'm going to return to the point, I don't actually think that this is going to happen. I think that it is too early in the process. I think something like the Netherlands and Belgium merging first is the testing the waters sort of things that has to happen before teams start to move between leagues. And I cannot stress to you enough how much I don't want that to happen. I just think that it will anyways. But Fenerbahçe is just too early to the party here. But they still might be moving forward on it anyways. The Athletics apparently reporting that on April 2nd, there will be a general assembly of the club's members, and they will decide how to move forward. So this is something, I mean, that's a week from now. So this is something that could drop pretty quickly. And I have to say, with the affinity for getting money anywhere they can get it in the Spanish league, and with just the general lack of an influx of funds in the Italian league, if Fenerbahçe can somehow make this proposal make financial sense for one of those leagues, maybe. No. But I think the biggest alarm going off is that, one of the recognizable games in Turkish football is so desperate because of their perceived mistreatment, right? That they are actually considering leaving the league. That should be a huge alarm bell for the Turkish Federation, the people running the Turkish league, and the government forces that Fenerbahçe feel are wronging them in the first place. Those bells should be ringing, and they should be really loud. And hopefully they make some changes that, I don't know, keep mobs of fans off the field. Seems like a good place to start. Anyways, see ya.